boardroom. I've never seen as few people in here in my life. It's just me and Esther for right now, and just kind of wondering what the hell's going on. So anyway, thanks for guys for coming tonight, and we're going to be talking mostly about, we want to go around the room for sure, but we want to mostly talk to folks. Is that Australia in the house?
Hi.
Good
you're
Lord.
You have to unmute yourself.
Queensland, Australia.
You have to unmute yourself. We can hear you.
Can I? There. Is he unmuted?
No, he has to unmute himself.
You got to unmute yourself. Look up top on your.
Hello.
There you are.
Hi.
Wow. Wow.
Sorry to interrupt everyone. I didn't know you were going to pull it off, Jeff, but you did. So good on you.
I can't believe it. Yeah, we're sitting here in the most empty room I've ever had at 7:05 on a Thursday. We started it, but we've got plenty of people on air, so it doesn't matter. It's cool. I had one guy actually call. It was at like the third boardroom ever. Going, yeah, I'm back in town. I want to come tonight. I'm like, all right. I don't even remember him. But cool. So anyway, so we're going to be talking tonight about our engagement and transactions with our customers and how we are how we transact with them, and kind of throwing it out to kind of do the friction test, I guess, is the best thing we can do.
Can you double click his frame because it's
Okay.
that way. So
we're going to do the friction test and really just kind of look at the easiest way for us to transact with our customers, and if anybody's got ideas, perspectives to throw out, that's what we're going to do tonight. And I'm just still amazed that I haven't screwed this up yet. I mean, how many times did it take the last time we did it on air? I was on air and doing different links, and then I think there's just something wrong with my computer at home. Because this has been easy as pie.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
You're now a master. You're the master.
I'm the master, yeah. I know Stephen Falter was helping me on this as well, so. And he's doing, I want to say, these international web conferences now that have as many as like 6,000 people on them. So pretty impressive stuff. So cool. But heck, let's start going around the room, because I know that there are a lot of people were talking about being here, but again, I could care less. We're gonna get going. So, Rob, I know you got to take off here, so why don't you introduce yourself and kind of tell us what you do, and then let's have a little conversation about what's going on lately with you. And I know you've got some exciting things with your production company too, but why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Oh.
Yeah. How's it going, guys? My name's Rob. I work here with Jay Abraham. I'm actually at our office right here. I wanted to actually talk to you, Jeff, about the video I did the other day. I started a website recently called Modern Business Creative, and the idea behind it was twofold. One's to get clients that want to work with me to do creative consulting, kind of like a new field that really you don't hear too much about. And I know it's kind of dangerous too, because a lot of people say if no one's doing it, don't do it. But I love it, and I was like, I got to figure a way out to make it part of my life. So I started a website called Modern Business Creative, and what it was initially about was to bring modern tools to business owners that they can use that'll help them streamline their life, their business, and their marketing. And I just did the first video, and it sucked, and it was terrible, and Jeff gave me some really good feedback.
Dude, it wasn't terrible. I thought there was some great stuff in there.
It was helpful. That's why I posted it. So the cool thing is that Jay's been really supportive of it, and he's just like, do whatever you want. I'll buy you camera stuff and lighting gear and whatever you need. And I do some of that stuff for Jay too. I've been doing his video for about 6 months now. He didn't have too much video going on, so I thought, hey, this is kind of cool. I can just kind of jump in here and just say, hey, can I be your video guy? Because starting out, I was just kind of like the apprentice around the office, just running around doing whatever he needed, doing the copywriting, editing, or doing calls, closing deals, whatever I could do. And yeah, it's been really cool. I think from this mastermind here, meeting Esther through Jeff, meeting Aaron Fletcher, that led to talking to James Schramko this week, and it's just been crazy how fast things have been growing, literally from this mastermind that Jeff put together. So it's been really cool.
That's great. That's great. And I think that your deal is. Yeah. Oh, look at these guys. Here they are.
You're
Hey,
late.
you know what time it is?
20 burpees for being late.
Tell
The heck?
20 burpees for being late, guys.
It's dessert time.
them. Here he is.
Sit out of the way.
The,
Yeah,
the photographer and the pirate.
Pirate. You
The
mean,
ninja pirate.
can I sit over here?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he's gonna sit away from the out of the thing.
No.
He likes to be behind the scenes.
That's right.
There you
That's my
go.
wife.
There you are. So, anyway, the guys that just walked in, why don't you introduce yourself, Steven? And then we're going to go back to the guys on air.
I can't.
You guys can't see you.
I know, on purpose.
Hey, the camera adds about 50 pounds on me. What the hell's going on?
About 200 on me.
All of us.
I'm getting barrel distortion on the left here. You gotta
So,
take
go
your
ahead.
sunglasses
Introduce
off,
yourself,
Yeah,
Steven.
well. Steve Dale. I have two businesses. Shutter Nation. We sell custom blinds and shutters. 35% less than Costco. 20% less than Home Depot.
Where'd you get that USP?
From you, my
From the
friend.
boardroom.
That
Booyah.
is true. I sweated all night. And then I have another company called Exceed Marketing, EXSEED Marketing, where we build lead generating online systems for window covering retailers.
Why did you change that? We build websites for blind guys.
Hi, blind guys.
Too funny. Too funny. Okay, Mark.
Where do I look? I guess
You
over
just
here.
look at the camera up there.
I'm Mark Jordan Photography in Rancho Santa Margarita. Basically specialize in family portraits and headshots for corporate.
Perfect. Esther?
I'm the producer and host of Born to Influence, the marketing show, which is a podcast on iTunes, and soon the video version is coming out on YouTube as well.
There we go. Cool. Let's go to. You know what, Brett? Since your camera's up, why don't you introduce yourself, man?
Cool. So, hello everyone. I'm Brett from the beautiful Gold Coast, Queensland, Australia. Just touching on lunchtime here, so I'm getting a little bit hungry. I run a fitness company in Australia here. We've got a fitness franchise called Fit Chick Transformations. In the last 2 years, we've built a following, a Facebook following, over 185,000 fans. We've been able to generate over 330,000 email contacts. And it's just really enabled us now to be able to, just create and produce new products and services on a regular basis to our market, which is the 19 to 45-year-old female. So that's basically me in a nutshell.
That's great. That's great. Well, welcome, man. This is wild. I never would have thought that this would have
This is weird.
gone this way. You guys are walking in, and it was weird. Last time we had like 15 people in here.
Yeah.
Didn't we?
Yeah, I drove up and said, "Where's
Where is
everybody?"
everybody? It was too hot. There's
90
if
degrees
we had the boardroom
today.
in the jacuzzi or in a swimming pool, they would have been fine.
Very nice.
It was in modern day. It was 105 degrees on the field today at track.
Get out of here.
It sucked. It sucked. Okay, Charlie, why don't you introduce yourself, my friend? Hey, Brett, can you mute yourself by any chance?
Are you sick? You sick of hearing me already, are you?
No. I just
I'm Charlie Posnick. I host a podcast called The Boomer Business Owner, where we interview successful online entrepreneurs and successful entrepreneurs who have a strong online presence on behalf of baby boomer listeners who want to get into some online business.
That's great. That's great. Thank you. Thanks for joining here. And Joe.
Yeah, my name's Joe Beckman. I am a public speaker and youth motivator. For the last 11 years, I've worked for a nonprofit here in Minneapolis called Youth Frontiers, where we partner with schools and do day-long retreats on core values like respect and courage and kindness. And I've recently made the decision to start working on my own and start trying to book some national and local speaking gigs, as well as start my own podcast that speaks to upperclassmen in high school as well as young college students about leadership and how to live an amazing life and how to enter the business world with an amazing foundation of leadership skills and personal development for themselves so that they can rock the business world as well.
That's fantastic. Fantastic. Thanks for joining us. And I don't think Larry's ready to join us yet. He said he'd join us later. Oh, wait, there's Larry.
Yeah, I'm on, Jeff.
Okay, great. So
Hey,
why don't
guys.
you introduce yourself? Tell us, how did you hear about the Boardroom, first of all?
So, Jeff, I was listening to Entrepreneur on Fire one day, John Lee Dumas's podcast, and I heard you speak, and what you were talking about, your message on that show really hit home. But I realized that I'd heard you maybe 2 years earlier. You were interviewed by you were on I Love Marketing, I think.
Yeah.
And that's where I remember you shot a video
Right.
with
Joe.
one of those guys, Joe. Yeah, and that's where I remember hearing about you for the first time. But then heard about you again on Entrepreneur on Fire. So got interested in what you were talking about there, the Thursday night boardroom. So here I am.
Oh, cool. Well, welcome. What is your business?
So I have two companies. One's called Frenzy Publishing. That's focused on newsstand applications, as well as we make apps and games for iOS and Android as well. And so I have two companies that do that, Frenzy Publishing and one called Diversion Games. Those are both on iTunes right now. We have about 15 games and apps published.
That's great. Were you interviewed on Entrepreneur on Fire as well?
I wasn't. No, I haven't gotten on his show yet.
Okay. Yeah, John and Kate, they're great people. They really, I was talking earlier about my wife's business, and we've gone down. Is that pots and pans happening at your place, Charlie, or in yours, Rob?
I don't have pots and pans.
Okay.
It sounds like.
We, what was I talking about? Oh, that.
Okay.
Oh, John and Kate. We went down there. We were down there at the beach watching my son's crew. There was a crew classic down there, and he was rowing. And we stopped by to visit with John and Kate, and they really, really encouraged my wife and gave her a huge amount of confidence in what she's doing now. And so, really proud of how she's taken off and where she is right now. And so I think that it's been the encouragement of a lot of people in the boardroom. I share with her a lot of emails and stuff like that. And so John and Kate are fabulous people. And Joe's been a very good friend of mine too. So I'm very blessed, and none of this would have happened without the boardroom. So that's great. Well, welcome, and I'm really interested in learning more about you, Larry, because that's exciting stuff. The apps and
obviously the publishing and how it all kind of ties together. And
Great.
it does, right?
It's just great. I'd say a newer way to drive leads. If you can publish, if you can have a newsletter, and you can publish that on Apple Newsstand. People don't realize, there are now 600 million credit cards in iTunes, and when somebody subscribes to a magazine, even if it's free, bam, you just got their email address and their phone number, and you can market to those people. So it's an incredible way to drive new traffic to whatever your product might be.
That's fantastic.
So what does your magazine focus on then?
Say
I'm
again?
glad I heard that before I have to
What
leave.
does your magazine focus on?
We have a couple of guys that we publish for. One is a dating magazine, and we're about to release one just basically on marketing, copywriting, and Facebook marketing. So some different subjects around there. I haven't published that yet. We've ultimately been providing a platform to publish other people at this point. So we really focus on making the apps for others that don't know how to make iPhone apps, especially newsstand apps.
So like Magcast is considered an app, right?
Yes, that's correct. And the great thing about it is it doesn't have to be a full-blown phone app. It really can be. There's a framework to create these, and so you can have just this simple
what amounts to kind of a website as an app, and it can have your podcast, and you can include podcasts and videos, and then some copy as well, some content, and that can be your newsstand app. So it's really whatever you want it to be. It doesn't really have to conform to any standard. And there's a guy out, you might want to check this out, a guy that does guitar lessons, and so his whole newsstand app is just videos of guitar lessons, and he does a great business out of that. So
how do we find that? How do we see that?
Just go to iTunes. If you have a Mac, open iTunes on your system there, and just go look at the newsstand, and it'll show all those newsstand apps. It's really the easiest way to get to is if you have an iPad, you can go right to it from there.
Larry, question for you, mate. What's the difference between the newsstand app and just having a standard app?
Excellent question. The specialty about newsstand, it's actually just a toggle in a file. But really the difference is with a regular app in iOS, you're not allowed to charge a monthly recurring cost. However, what most people don't know is the newsstand app, you can actually charge a recurring fee for that. So that's how the magazines get away with it. And so if you put something out as a newsstand app, you can charge somebody monthly. It's the only way you can do it in Apple.
Who do you use for the processing of a reoccurring monthly on that?
Microphone. Who do you use?
It goes right through Apple iTunes. So you charge through. It comes right to you. If you have an Apple developer account, it will go right to your Apple developer account, and they take a piece, of course.
Okay.
Are you going to be creating all the content for this magazine now from your company, or are you still looking for contributors?
Looking for contributors. I'm not a writer, so we definitely, just like a blog, I would want other people contributing to this app, to the apps that we publish ourselves.
And I would like to talk to you maybe after this meeting.
Sure.
I have a marketing show that's a daily show, and we have really established entrepreneurs and New York Times bestselling authors, and the interviews with them might be a good fit for this.
Oh, excellent. Yes, I'd love to have your input on that. It'd be great.
Cool. Why don't you guys start talking about it now? We can all learn some crap.
All right.
Yeah, I hate to say this. I jumped on. I'm probably not going to stay the whole time because I'm Eastern time. It's getting late here, and it's been a long day.
No doubt. I'm noticing there's a guy that just came in by the name of Joe Garcia, who's now going to be called Lazy Ass Joe, because Joe Garcia is one of the he was OG. He was an original gangster of the Boardroom, one of the original 4 that was in here.
What do you mean was? I don't think that changes.
It doesn't change. No, hey, you know what? I can care. This is wild. I mean, I'm like I've got goosebumps.
This is pretty cool.
Yeah. So,
Jeff,
why don't you introduce yourself to the Boardroom, man?
Jeff, I'm going to roll out too.
You got to leave, Rob?
Yeah, I got to get rolling.
All right, bud.
Okay.
It was nice to meet everybody. I'm sure I'll see you guys on the next one.
Take care, pal.
Bye.
Go ahead, Joe.
Okay. Well, for everybody that doesn't know me, my name is Joe Garcia. Hope you can hear me okay. Yeah, I was one of the first members of the Boardroom with Jeff. We started watching videos, and that was like 2-something years ago. And I'm probably one of the most consistent members that goes there. For some reason, I haven't been there the last 2 times, but I'm pretty familiar with all the other material from the Boardroom. So.
I guess that's the train.
Yeah, I'm a graphic designer and web developer. That's what I do for a living, and entrepreneur like everybody else.
There you go. Cool. Welcome. Well, let's go back to Elisa, because Elisa, I don't think let's get deeper into Elisa. I think that she was interrupted. Elisa, so tell us about yourself.
Okay. Well, my name is Elisa Smith, and for the last 16 years, I have been developing new products, new personal care products. So my focus is on formulation development, market research, and consumer research. I've worked for companies like Procter & Gamble, and now I work for Durban, which is which is a large company that basically makes personal care products based in Japan. So right now I'm employed. I just finished my MBA at Indiana University part-time.
Congratulations.
And so right now I'm just trying to leverage my, I guess my skills, trying to figure out how to leverage my skills from the standpoint of the career I've had and my MBA to figure out what I should do as far as starting my own business. So I have an entrepreneurial spirit, and I've been more of a corporate entrepreneur, and now I'm looking to branch out myself and just trying to figure out what I want to do.
You know, there's a guy, another member of the boardroom by the name of Kevin Donahue, that is going to come in here. He's going to present to us in a couple of weeks, and he's in a business where, like with beauty products or skincare, he takes people that have a formulation of something, you know, or a supplement of some sort, and they literally take it from the formulation to the packaging to the marketing to the fulfillment, everything. They take 70% of the profit, but they have like this stamped franchise model that they're doing, and with your background and experience, you have a unique ability within the supply chain to be able to really help somebody, you know, whether it's the people that are on TV, the people that are in front of the camera, being able to create products and help develop unique products for them. And I'm learning that as these number one, you know, bestsellers, New York Times bestsellers, as they start to develop their exposure out in the marketplace, a good 75 to 80% of their sales come from product sales. And so, you know, with what you just said, the unique set of ability that you have, the unique ability that you have is really something that can be developed, and this is a great place to kind of connect with people. That's for sure. Certainly, there's more people than you see right now on air or whatever, but out in the boardroom, throwing out some ideas out in the boardroom, I'd certainly encourage you. Are you on the Facebook page, right?
I don't have access to the Facebook page yet. I've requested access.
Oh, really? Well, request again, and I'll let you in.
Okay.
Yeah, request again, and I'll let you in. And so we'll definitely do that. And then it looks like we just got someone new and another original gangster. Dude, you live around the corner, you lazy ass. Where are you?
I'm on my way home from CrossFit. I had to work tonight. I was at a food show all day over in Temecula, so you know, I thought I'd join in and see how things are coming along.
All right, and you're in your car. I'm
in my car.
Hang on.
I am.
Do not.
Hi, Esther. Good to see you.
Do not try this at home.
No.
Well, mute your. Well, you know what? Introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Philip Franco, owner of Sierra Cheese Manufacturing. We're a small cheese manufacturing company based out of beautiful downtown Compton, California. So that's me.
The people who live here know that's not funny.
Okay, cool. And you were also, actually, you were an original before we started what we call the boardroom now. That was a long time before that.
I am, absolutely.
Right, that's right. Well,
that's right. Jeff and I have been talking on... Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that, you know, I am one of the originals. You know, I've seen Jeff grow leaps and bounds in his business and in his personal life.
Yeah. You're cutting out there, buddy. Hey, you know what? Thank you, Phil, but mute yourself, okay?
No,
mute yourself, or I'm going to mute you for you.
All right, I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, Phil. Cool. So, what happened to the camera?
I don't know. Maybe the internet dropped a little bit.
Okay. Well, whatever. It'll come back.
It'll come.
It'll come back. There we go. So anyway, tonight we wanted to talk about and kind of go around the room about any problems or challenges that we're having in the transaction of doing business. Okay, so like Rob's boss, Jay Abraham, says, that if you truly believe what you have to offer is useful and valuable to your client, you have a moral obligation to serve them in any way possible. And when we talk about serve in that particular situation, Jay's talking about, offering a service or providing a service, but transacting with them in any way possible. And so, what we're trying to do is try to be the guide for our client to be able to create that friction-free process for them. And in order to do that, we really have to tap into those questions in the boardroom, especially the fourth question about what do you do that makes you the best in the world in the eyes of your customer, and becoming your client, and then helping and guiding them through as if you were them, and identifying that. I was listening to who's that? Brian.
Yeah, that's me.
Brian who?
Brian Prieto.
Hey Brian, can you mute yourself a little bit for a second?
Or turn your camera on.
Yeah.
Figure that out.
You should make a rule. If they don't have a camera, they're not allowed to come in.
Yeah.
My camera's hidden.
Okay. Can you just mute yourself on the screen? Thanks. I don't want to. Yeah. So anyway, you're working as if we are them, and I was just going to give you an example. Cisco Food Service. Okay, $44 billion corporation. We've been awarded the Mahi Mahi for their category management initiative, and it's quite controversial that they've narrowed Mahi Mahi supply of these particular items down to only 2 suppliers in the country, and one of the suppliers isn't even doing it the way they submitted for the bid. So it's pretty controversial, and right now, the operating companies, there's 70 operating companies that, of those, 50 of them have to buy their mahi from us. So yesterday they might have been buying mahi from ABC Company, but now they're buying it from International Pacific. So when my guys are there, they're like, yeah, we're going to sell them the mahi, but I want to sell them the ahi, and I want to sell them the halibut, and the swordfish, and the salmon, and all these different things. And it's like, okay, cool. But I've been talking about friction-free stuff, on stage, right, and in the boardroom about how do we create a friction-free environment. And so for my guys, I definitely want them to sell all the things that we have to offer our core offering. But what I want them to be first and foremost is the most hassle-free option for these people that have to now buy from us. And so that's our goal. That's our first and foremost, our goal is to, whatever they need for us to help them right now, we're going to go over and above and beyond to help them and create something where these people are then, when we have something else to offer, they're going to go, God, you know what? I've never had anybody service us like this. I've never had anybody be this helpful and this generous. And so we want them to experience us, and it's no different than when I did the thing at Wild Things when we gave free seafood away. The best way for us to represent and show our value is to have you experience it. The best way for you to experience is to give it to you for free, and that's the same thing here. So
unfortunately, you can't do that at every business.
No, not give free stuff away. I get that.
It's kind of hard to give free websites and free shutters away.
It absolutely is, but and I'm not talking. I'm just talking about how do we create the friction-free deal. How does it when somebody calls you on the phone, and they might be asking you for a certain kind of photographer that it's really you can do it, but you don't want to do it. It's more often the case. It's a bigger hassle, right. And so there's this. You can say that's not what I do, and hang up, Or you can say, that's not what I do, but why don't you give my friend Bill a call? And here's his phone number. As a matter of fact, here, let me just check. And I'm going to call Bill right now and see if he's available, and then I'm going to give you his number, and you can call him. You know, or I can give you his number or your number, and I'll have him call you.
I like to think that we're enthusiastically accommodating.
Good, yeah, and that's it. I think that you're right on.
Yeah. Genuine.
Eager to serve instead of just willing.
Right.
I'm willing to do whatever you want me to do, whatever you tell me to do.
Whatever you're willing to pay me to do.
But I'm not, but I'm not going to do it unless you tell me to do it.
You know, last year, every December, I spend a lot of time thinking and talking and praying about what is my next year going to look like. And this year I chose the word be helpful. And that's all it is. It's on my board right in front of my desk, and I'm on the phone all day long. And it has taken me into so many paths recently of helping someone, because we get a lot of calls for people who want X, Y, or Z. We don't do that. But I have a board, and I have all the people who will do that for them. I found those referrals. There's the top 5 referrals. I found them for them. And just being helpful, and it has led to quite a bit more business, and a lot of people like, wow, that was really nice.
And I think that's great, and that's exactly what I'm talking about here, and it's inspiring as heck. Just really want to make sure that not only, and there's a saying that how you do one thing is how you do everything, and so we're not just talking about tonight about, and I'm not trying to lecture or preach or anything like that.
Amen.
But it's
face over here.
Is it? Yeah, exactly.
I know.
Is it? When we're talking about this, and Stephen Palter, who was on and off tonight with what we were doing, we were talking back and forth where he's having some challenges. Stephen Palter is the owner of the #1 fertility clinic in the United States of America, and it's not because he called himself like we're the best hamburger, we're the best fertility clinic. The Centers of Disease Control named him the best in the country. And so his business is on tilt. I mean, he's growing like crazy. Well, you can imagine if your business is one size, and then you grow to this, and God, this is something that Brett and I talked about in the interview, is your business goes from, let's say 1 million to 5 million, or 5 million to 15 million. There's very few things that are the same in that company. And if they aren't different, then your 15 million is going to turn into 10 million, and then back into 5 million really quickly. Or you can work with your people and help evolve. And we were talking about challenges that way, and really recognizing the people within your own organization for their own special, unique powers that might not be scalable to the extent of, hey, you're going to be promoted and you're going to handle all this other stuff. But within that one particular superpower, you are what make this company what it is. And so where the Peter principle starts to really show itself and rear its ugly head as we get bigger and more responsibility, to even create that friction-free atmosphere within your own company.
Well, it's up to us as business owners to prepare our employees and ourselves for success. Because if we know we're going to the next step, we have to prepare our people for that, and ourselves.
You know what, though? I know we know it, but like JJ Virgin, who I'm working with right now, and we're actually working on products. I mean, it's a business thing, it's a health thing, it's an everything with her, and she's fabulous, and she's scary and great at the same time. And, but I've been for 3 weeks now. I've been gluten-free, dairy-free, egg-free, soy-free, peanut-free, corn-free, and sugar-free. So,
3 weeks already?
Yeah.
What exactly would you be eating? Lettuce?
I eat seafood. I eat grass-fed beef. I eat vegetables. I eat legumes. I eat brown rice, quinoa. Sounds about right, huh, Brett?
Yeah. That's it, guys. That's the shit.
That's it. So it's been great, but we're working together. But she went from 2012 to 2013. She went from $2 million to $10 million in sales.
Wow.
that is a quantum leap. A quantum leap. And she's got a tremendous team around her. I don't know, anybody that's read her book, The Virgin Diet, you just read the acknowledgement section, and you're going, this woman has a team. I mean, this isn't just like some friends I've got working for me team either. This is the dream team. This is really an all-star team.
What's it called again? The Virgin?
The Virgin Diet.
Okay.
And so she's been on PBS. I think she's got some stuff.
Freaky Eaters. You know the show Freaky Eaters?
Freaky Eaters. There was a show called Freaky Eaters that was out there. Anyway, her business.
You'll have to create an intro, mate. I'll have to get her on the Fit Professional podcast. Thank you.
There you go, for sure. But my point is that things grow, we all evolve, and there's a paradigm shift that occurs. But to disagree with you a little bit, I don't think I've ever heard a time when somebody can tell me when a paradigm shift's going to occur. Right? They can tell me, but how do we actually know a paradigm shift is going to occur?
Well, if you know the start date of your team when you're going to start getting the Cisco business in, you know the start date. That's it right there. So your team's already been preparing for that date. That's the same thing as preparing them for success.
I understand preparing for success, but I'm talking about really being able to define a paradigm shift in advance.
The phone rings more.
I think but even that is like after the fact. Right. It happened, and now you're going, okay, we're going through.
Well, good planning.
Sure. It's good planning, but it's also recognizing culturally what's going on. But anyway, the point is I'd love to really kind of work around the room and not necessarily talk about, unless there is a challenge, but what experiences have we had and what kind of things do we do for our customers that create, or people in our lives that create a friction-free environment, a friction-free transaction. And Joseph, can you?
It sounds like someone's
okay, there you go. Who wants to start with that? Do you want to start with that, Charlie?
Yeah, I feel a little like no pun intended, Jeff, a little fish out of water here. Because my business is so new, so I'm not sure I have a whole lot to add to the conversation at this point.
But in any part of your career, was there a time where you would that you were able to create that kind of environment?
Mark, can you fix the lights? Make us look better. What's your biggest challenge right now in your business?
I launched about 3 months ago, so I have a podcast and website. So it's getting subscribers for the website and just starting to monetize what I'm doing. I just had my first webinar this week.
No, how'd that go?
How did it go?
Yeah.
I thought it went okay. No one signed up for the course that I was offering, but it was kind of, I put it off for like 3 weeks, and I said I just want to do this, so I got it done, and I don't want to say it was half-assed, but it will definitely be better next week and the week after. So I'm pretty pumped about that, though. So I'm looking, I guess to your point, Jeff, as far as friction-free, what I'm looking to do is help people with an existing platform, like speakers and authors, people who want to add podcasting to their platform, offer a group podcast coaching program. So they don't have to do it all by themselves, like with a Podcaster's Paradise, or they don't have to engage somebody one-on-one from a mentor standpoint. So that's kind of my challenge, to present that, I guess, in a way that's beneficial to people.
Are you currently producing content to answer that question, how do I start my own podcast, and driving traffic to yourself through that channel?
It's interesting you should ask that question, because just as I was here listening to you guys talk, I was thinking that I probably should be doing blog posts. Put it out like, how to come up with a name for your podcast, how to come up with an avatar for your podcast, things like that. Start putting out that information to kind of back up what I'm doing. But no, I haven't done that to date, to answer your question.
Oh, sorry, Charlie. I didn't mean to do that to you.
Only the best tasting tune.
Can you hear me, Charlie?
Yeah, I'm good now.
Okay.
Okay.
So you were saying?
So I was saying it's interesting you should ask that question about how I put out content. And as you were talking, I was thinking that I probably should be doing blog posts about how to create your avatar, you know, maybe something about microphones, maybe something about software to use and things like that to start showing people that I kind of know what I'm talking about and build some credibility, which would support, you know, the services I'm offering.
Okay.
And
I wouldn't say maybe, Charlie. I would say definitely.
Yep. Yep.
Because as someone who has started, like I started my own podcast, and when I started, my biggest struggle was what type of software do I use?
About how to create your avatar, you know, maybe something about microphones, maybe something about software to use, things like that.
You're on YouTube, where it's recorded. We need to go back to Google Plus, right?
Come on. Can we hear it?
I'm good.
Charlie?
Are you there?
Yeah.
No, go back to where you were.
I'm fine. I'm here. He's got the link. What are you going to ask? Sorry, we got a little technical difficulty there.
Are you sending the link?
I'm just going to put it on for Facebook.
Yeah.
No, Charlie was telling us what kind of content he wanted to produce.
Can you start again? We're having some technical difficulties here.
Sure. I said. I'm sorry. What is your name? It says Fit on the screen.
Brett.
Oh, Brett.
Brett. Okay.
I better change my profile.
I was going to say, you know, that threw me off. I was saying that maybe I should, and Brett said I definitely should, essentially, start creating content, like a blog post, how to create an avatar, you know, what equipment you should use, what software you should use to start adding value to the conversation so that people will know that I know what I'm talking about as far as successfully starting a podcast.
I'd actually, on top of that, Charlie, I would actually create small snippets of a podcast yourself. So start your own podcast, record 2 to 5 minute lessons, and then get them transcribed so you do have a blog post and a podcast itself. So you're actually doing what people are wanting to do in the first place.
I actually do have a podcast. I've done 160 interviews. I have transcripts. I have them all on the website, so I have that part set up. So I could point to that, but you know, maybe just talking more instead of writing blog posts about baby boomers starting a business, and you know, it doesn't cost much. Maybe focus more on the podcast, since that's my shorter-term monetization strategy.
I'm definitely looking at recyclable content. God.
I didn't catch that, Brett.
Sorry. So I was saying it sounds like over 160 interviews and information. Like, do you need to go and create more info? Can you just recycle what you've got and put it into a format? Because it doesn't, like, it's that whole thing of, do I need to create more content, or can I just use what I do have and recycle it in a different way?
I guess what I was focusing on is more instructional content, because what I'm offering people is a class instruction as opposed to just, you know, good solid content about online business and things like that.
Have you ever bought somebody else's program and studied how they sold you, like something like from Mike Koenig's, like at Traffic Geyser, or Frank Kern's? Have you ever studied how their system works, and do you think you could apply that to yourself and your system?
I have not, to answer your question, and I'm sure that I very much could apply it, yes.
I would look at that. Mike Koenig's got some really, his latest book is on this. It's on my phone, I forget the name of it. Yeah,
I think it's called You Everywhere. I think that's what it's called.
You Everywhere, yeah.
And did the people who came to your webinar, did they come from your podcast listeners, or did you advertise separately?
We did Facebook ads, but I made the mistake of not sending them to a separate list on Aweber, so it got commingled with my existing list. So we wound up sending the emails to the entire list, which isn't that big. So effectively, it went to everybody who was on my list.
Okay.
But do you know that people who are listening to your show, do they want to learn how to do a podcast?
I don't know that for a fact, to answer your question, no.
Okay.
Who is your customer?
You know, it's a really good question because I'm in the process of thinking about, I don't want to say rebranding, but kind of modifying my brand. It's currently the boomer business owner, and my customer is a kind of a younger baby boomer in my mind who's realizing that something's not working. You know, they're not happy to some extent and want to move to do something maybe lifestyle business oriented or something entrepreneurial, something online. And of late, I've been talking with actually somebody I interviewed who's a branding person. We were having a lot of conversations, and even somebody I interviewed today, something clicked, and I guess I'm focusing more on the demographic than the mindset.
Right.
And it really isn't the demographic. I mean, I think that a lot of baby boomers, that demographic fit into the mindset I'm looking for, but I don't want a baby boomer who's sitting there saying, yeah, I'm unhappy, and all right, well, what do you want to tell me? What do you want to convince me of? It's not it. I want somebody who's standing there, like, pounding the table saying, I got a problem. I got financial problems, or I hate what I'm doing. I'm tired of commuting. I read about these guys who are 25 years old. They're in the Philippines for 2 weeks at a time. They're running their business. They're making more money than me. Why can't I do that? Why can't I learn that? So I want to get people, those kind of people, which I think there's a lot of baby boomers that fit in there. But there's other people that fit in there as well. So I just kind of looking to shift my focus a little bit.
I think changing to that mindset shift and being able to create content in, I think Brett's onto something for sure. Create content from what you have so far.
Absolutely.
And where you're interviewing somebody and they might be talking about a certain strategy or method, then you can create some kind of a video about it that says, hey, let's put that into play. Let's make this more familiar to you instead of just an idea or a thought that's fleeting. As soon as this podcast is over, that let's just take that and let's put that into play. And now all of a sudden you become the expert. There's a guy I want you to look at. As far as video goes and him talking about stuff, his name's Terry Lamb.
Terry is
This
amazing.
guy is incredible.
It's funny too.
And it's followterry.com. And he uses the old methodology of Gary Vaynerchuk, as old as that may be, but just the old, hey, let's connect as real people.
Mm-hmm.
And he, Terry comes out and Terry does these. He has a video blueprint that he talks about. That's fantastic. Did he finally put that up on his site?
I
didn't see it either. I didn't see it either. But he will get on there and he's a guy that helps people make money online, and he's an affiliate marketer. But all of a sudden he'll sit up there and he'll go, okay, the new Mozilla Thunderbird email system. And he'll talk about how to, this is what this email system is and how helpful it is.
Well, they also do comparison analysis between that. Should I use this new one or Google Mail?
Right, and
that's
I
where
think
you get traffic.
I think that's the big challenge is that people just don't know what to do next. Mm-hmm. And it's just like the first time you looked at even Windows, the first when you went from DOS to Windows. On the computer, right? It's like, I don't know what to click on. I don't know what to do. And it becomes, you're not looking at any particular thing for functionality. You're looking at just this big, massive thing going, I'm not familiar with this, so I don't know what to do, and I'm afraid to take a step. But I think there's tons of content and tons of ways for you to be more interjected and injected into people's lives as a solution. And I think Brett really had some. I think Brett's really onto something.
And you know what, too? If you're dealing with people who are a little bit older, what Terry explained in his presentation was that when people opt in, he doesn't just start sending them a bunch of emails. He asks them to call him, and he gives his phone number. I'm sure he has a special phone number for that because his transactions are larger. He has a $15,000 or something, so it's worth it for him to take the time on the phone. So instead of like everybody else, put in your email and I'm going to send you a bunch of content, people actually call him, and that might work really well with the demographic anyway.
He's made it so friction-free that in his introductory video that he talks about what he does and who he is, he's like, look, I sell big-ticket stuff, and I make big commissions for this big-ticket stuff. I can make $10,000, $15,000 in commissions on a deal. And, but I had to invest $30,000 to be in a program like that. And he's saying, somebody's going, hey, I don't have that kind of money to invest $30,000. He's like, that's fine. Come work for me. I'll share the commissions with you. Do all the things that I tell you to do as far as the methodology and the strategies and the tactics. Do everything I tell you to do. You don't have to invest a dime. And if you do what I tell you to do, we're going to get sales, and I'm going to share my sales commission with you. And so he helps them kind of develop their way in there. And I think being able to take baby steps. I think Brett's fabulous at this with personal trainers and helping them get more business, and really challenging them and really creating just that, hey, not just do you want more customers or do you want more clients. He literally asks those questions, that the same questions that the trainer, the personal trainer, is asking right now in their life. Is that right, Brett?
Yeah, definitely, Jeff. Couldn't agree more with you. And it's about obviously meeting the person where they are currently. So that's the key.
And it's more meeting them, the mindset of where they are, than anything. And so when you're talking about a set demographic, Charlie, this demographic may or may not be ready for you. Mm-hmm. But there is a mindset that's ready for you, and you're right. You shouldn't have to convince anybody to do anything. Mm-hmm. Compelling means, hey, I'm in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's something that I think we can all agree is there's more that you can do with the content that you have. I think to create that, and it doesn't take a whole long time. Watch what Terry does. Terry Lamb does, and this guy, he just, the only complaint that the people that he sells for are that they have is that he's not consistently killing it every single month, because Terry will turn his switch on and he'll make $100,000 in a month and then go away for 3 months and go fly stuff and go vacation. And then he'll come back on and turn his switch on.
He used to be a commercial pilot.
Yeah, he was a commercial air pilot for United Airlines.
Can I ask you a quick question, Charlie?
Surely.
Do you sell it? This is Steve. Do you sell it as a business opportunity?
My course?
Yeah. Is your course, does it say how to make money or start a business doing XYZ?
My course is how to successfully start a podcast in 4 weeks.
If you just tweaked it a tad bit, there are, I believe, 13 million searches a month done on Google on how to make money and business opportunities. It happens to be a market I know a lot about. Many times you can take a product like what you have and repackage it as a biz op, and then you attract a whole new audience of people who are actively looking to start a business and get a return on their investment.
Well, that's essentially what John did too with podcasts.
Right.
Yeah. Right. I literally have sold 2,000 or 3,000 of them personally.
So could you just give me a quick example of what you're talking about, Steve?
We sold 1,500 of them that were how to start a mini blind cleaning service, and we would give them the equipment. We sold 400 of them how to start a window covering business. We sold some that were how to start a window tint business, things like that. But you can do it with anything. How to earn money as a podcaster in your own niche or whatever it is.
Okay.
I think that exactly. I think earning money, making money with your podcast.
That's the hook.
You don't need 10,000 people to start making money on something like that. It starts with just a few and blossoms tremendously. And I think that helping a few people start their podcast, somebody that's got that idea and creating a friction-free process where that how your formula, your framework to help these people set their podcast up in 4 weeks or less, you have a specific framework that you help them with. And the more people that you can get as clients now at whatever price is going to help you evolve and charge more. I mean, my wife's private counselor business, she was working with kids for $400, and then it was $9.95, and now it's $19.97. And it's just ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk. And it's more about it's more about your own confidence that you have within the entire transaction and the engagement.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you're there.
Sorry, I was going to say, Charlie, do you actually have runs on the board in regards to the success of actually being able to do this, or have you helped clients do this before?
I just picked up my first consulting client, one-on-one consulting client, so I'm kind of in the process with him. So that's my only background so far. Again, I launched 3 months ago.
Okay, great. So you're documenting everything that you're doing with this person, so you could then turn it into a training. Because it sounds like like you said, you're at the start of it. I guess it's a matter of you have to actually go through the process first of all and get those runs on the board. So, full steam ahead for you.
Thank you.
For sure. Well, anybody else? Let's talk about in that engagement process.
Quick question before Jeff. I think Steve, you mentioned we were talking about the U everywhere. Is it Mike Keenan? Keenan?
No, Keenix. You everywhere. Actually, I was a founding member of that Facebook group.
It's Koenigs. Koenigs.
He's out of San Diego.
Okay.
He also owns Traffic Geyser too.
Yeah, he started Traffic Geyser. I'll tell you, and he's just launched it again.
Yeah.
It is just the one thing that Mike Koenigs has so much talent and skill in that area, the deliverables, but it's literally drinking out of a fire hose. I think that's if anybody's got any complaint about Mike Koenigs, it's he gives too much stuff.
Yeah, I would agree.
And you don't know what to do with it. So it's not spatial learning at all. So.
Thanks, everybody. I appreciate your feedback.
My pleasure. Esther, speaking of feedback, you had something that you were putting out to the boardroom. You what? Did what?
Okay, for everybody, I sent an email earlier to Jeff to ask for feedback about the strategy because I'm looking to get more downloads to my podcast, and so my idea was and is to reach out to people who have some kind of a marketing service or some kind of an information product or courses that they do around marketing, or if they have any kind of service that helps you, like for example an email marketing service, and to reach out to them through their Facebook pages and say that, hey, I really like what you're doing here, and we are about to license our show, which I'm really looking into, to license out and white label some of the content of the best interviews, and as a beta program to offer to them for testimonials, to give the content for free so that they can distribute it to their email subscribers and their Facebook pages.
I don't know what you're trying to do.
So let's say you're a business.
Trying to springboard her content.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. So let's say you have a Facebook page and you have the same target market as me, and I come to you and I say that, hey, how would you like some free content so that you don't have to work so much with coming up with content?
Have you considered hooking up with conventionaires, people who plan out conventions for a variety of different services, and offer packages to them of interviews, because they have to go out and hire really expensive people? You can supplement that with, we got people who can do, here's 5 of my interviews on how to do X, Y, and Z, and then sell them that content as a prepackaged thing that they can press plug and play at their opening
I like that. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what I do.
So the feedback part was that I wrote up the message that how I would be reaching out to people, and I just wanted to have some feedback on that copy. But I'm taking notes right now.
All right, then I'll look at it because I
And
was
then when
in
I
the
said
car
that I
when
did
I
it
saw
already
feedback.
because I was talking to Larry, was it? Right?
Yeah.
With the magazine.
Yes.
That's the same idea that he has a platform and he needs content. I have the content. I need more subscribers and.
Okay.
So it's
Oh yeah. Right. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Cool.
You could also sell your content to public speakers, and there are thousands of them to enhance what they do.
Brett, is there a way
So
that
it gives
you
them
could
credibility of
share
having
with
someone on
us
stage with them that's
one of your funnels? Meaning that you get somebody in. How are you? Who are you're targeting? You said you were targeting a certain age group, females, trainers of females.
So we've got two markets. The first, where I guess evolved from, was we went direct to consumer. So I started as a personal trainer. I then became a coach and mentor to personal trainers, teaching them what I was doing. So now we've created a fitness franchise where I've got two markets. One is the personal trainer looking to run and build a successful six-figure group fitness business, and the other is the end consumer who wants to get fit, feel confident, and just be happy within themselves. And so if you want me to break down the funnel, I think I can definitely. I'll go through the one direct to consumer, if you like, or which one would you rather?
Which one do you guys want to hear?
I want to know everything. And I
want to know everything. There, we've narrowed it down for you, Brett.
Sure, no
I want to
problem.
know everything. Right now.
No, the Facebook thing that you posted the other day, how you guys launched a new Facebook page and you got 15,000 likes really, really quickly. I want to know about that too.
Yeah, cool. I guess in regards to it, what you'll find is there's going to be a pattern in everything, because it doesn't matter if I'm starting a cleaning business or a cafe, something like that. The lead generation process is going to be very similar. So what we did is we start off with I guess if we go from if we're going over the client's journey, the first step in the client's journey is for someone to come across one of our marketing pieces. And in this case, we'll just use a Facebook post or a Facebook ad for this example, where we offer a free 7-day slim down meal plan. So this meal plan in itself is a product that someone could purchase for $50 and be very happy with. It provides great value, but not only that, we also, and this is, I believe, the catalyst of our growth and success that we've been able to have, is not only do they get access to a free 7-day meal plan, we also then give them access to our private VIP Fit Check group member. So we've got about 14,300 members in this group currently, where what we do is we educate and motivate them on a daily basis to help them achieve their goals. And this group we've got three people who are in there full-time moderating, deleting comments. It's the #1 female-only group on the internet, voted by the girls, of course, because there's no cattiness, there's no bitchiness, there's no people coming in there posting links to their products and this and that, whilst we obviously still get that. But why I say that is because that is our foundation for us to be able to then launch and market our products. So they get a free meal plan. We then send them the email. I guess if we want to get really descriptive on the process, they get a free meal plan. We then send them to a thank you page where we have a one-time offer for a $19.95 clean recipes cookbook. So that recipe book is generally $32.95, but we give them a one-time offer to purchase it then and there. So we get 5% of people who will take that purchase up on the thank you page. We then send them an email with their free meal plan. In the email, we have the link for them to invite themselves to our group. Okay, because what people do is they go, oh, how do you get 14,000 people in a group? That must drive you crazy. Well, not really, because the only way you can find our group is by getting the link, which is sent to you via our autoresponder email. So we'll then let them into the group. Then, of course, we'll educate and motivate them. We've got now several different products and services. So we've got about 6 different online workout programs. that, of course, we strategically talk about. We get the girls to talk about their results. So what we're doing is we're creating passive sales in a way where we're not having to hard sell these people in the group. From there, I guess you would say our next process is, we've got an autoresponder sequence set up to trigger the purchase of the product as well, of course. But the main crux of the process is give them a free meal plan, get them into our group, educate them, motivate them, make them become raving fans, and then obviously offer your products and services. Now, the power of that is, and I was talking to Jeff the other day about it, is we were able to sell out a retreat. So we ran a 7-day retreat in Bali. So we put this out. I was thinking about a big strategy, how are we going to market it, how are we going to launch this thing, etc. And then I just thought, I'll just send out an email. So I sent out an email, and within 24 hours we sold it out. So 30 people, spots taken. We had 176 ladies register for this Bali retreat. It was a $4,000 ticket price. 95% of these ladies we'd never even met before, but it was all done from the relationships we build in the group.
And it's a Facebook group?
This is a private Facebook group. So we have our Facebook fan page, where we strategically post content, pictures, lead generation posts. So we have a mixture of all. We'll utilize motivational posts that engage, the motivational side of things. We'll put direct sale pictures on the Facebook page as well. And we'll also utilize offers to generate leads to come through on a free meal plan, and then they go through the sequence.
And
so,
are they from Australia?
Sorry?
Are they mostly from Australia?
Yeah, 93% of our Facebook fans are from Australia, because the reason being, and why I haven't pulled the trigger on the states as of yet, is because we've built a fitness franchise, which is Australian-based right now, is we want to, where we're unique from other fitness franchises, we actually help provide leads and business to the actual personal trainer. So this is where we segue from consumer now to the personal training industry, where what we do is we've created, and this is when I first sat down, I was like, how can I create my own world, almost? So what happens is, and we've had our first ever person go through the perfect client journey. So they came through our free meal plan, they come to our group, they purchase our workout products and programs that we have, they then come to our Bali retreat, they then decide to become a personal trainer, where we've now created the Fit Academy, where we educate personal trainers now, so we're certifying personal trainers to become trainers. They go from a personal trainer then into owning their own FitCheck location, which is the FitCheck franchise, and then they now become a mentor for someone else going through that loop. So
that's amazing. It all starts with a free meal plan. So
and it all but what it actually started with, Esther, was it started with a 5-page Word document with no graphics and just a 7-day meal plan written out. And that's where it started with. It was very imperfect, but what happened was we started to gain a lot of traction. In one night, we generated 12,564 leads by using a Facebook offer, and I'm happy to share that strategy. But it grew, so we had to adapt, and it's the rest is history. So it's about feeding the engine now in the best possible way.
When you're ready to launch in the US, I have a couple of people I know in related niches, in the yoga niche and in the juicing niche, and they have huge Facebook followings and 7-figure businesses as well. So it's related, but it's not competitive. So when you're ready to launch over here, let me know, and I'll introduce you and see if you guys can do something together.
Yeah, 100%. And the funny thing is, I've already put in a lot of groundwork for the United States. I've been in a mastermind over there about 3 years ago. I traveled to the States a few times to obviously create those connections, but I'm definitely following up with that. But does anyone have any questions, first of all, in regards to the specifics that I talked about with the funnel? Because I know it probably sounds like a lot of...
Well, I'm interested in how you're getting people to your original.
Yeah, the original
Facebook page.
Cool. So I guess it started utilizing strategies from. If I was to say what's the core part, we use Facebook advertising. So we pay advertising.
Oh, okay.
So that's the core of it. Now we actually don't spend very little. We spend very little in advertising. Where we spend now is more promoting the products and services that we have, those type of posts. But there are I guess if you were to look at some Facebook strategies that you can do, and these are probably like long tail theories to it, but it's all got to start somewhere. Like with your fan page, go and like similar fan pages. If anyone hasn't been to there's a website called Likealizer, Like Eliza, and you can put in a Facebook URL, and it will actually rank your Facebook fan page, and it will tell you some feedback, what you need to do, what they recommend, etc. Now, don't take that as gospel, because they've just created an algorithm, and they don't know how much money you're making from the actual page. But what it will do is it will show you other fan pages in your same niche that are doing well. My recommendations is go and like those fan pages and communicate with them. Go onto their posts, and the great thing now is you can actually post as a fan page. So for us, for example, with our clean eating recipes fan page that we've built in the last, it'll be about 6 weeks now, we've got about 27,000 fans. That's all free. We haven't paid for any of those fans. But the strategies you utilize is go and like. So there was an American fan page that had, I think, about 500,000 fans. Even Applebee's is an example. You'll all know Applebee's. So we went and liked their fan page, made some comments, and what happened is you'll know, and you would have all done it yourself. You would have been scrolling through a fan page one day, seen something, see a name of a fan page, it attracts you, and the clean eating recipes, it says what it is, right? So you're going to click on that, and there'll just be the series from there.
Wow.
So you make
and how we're building our list from our clean eating recipes page, to let you know, we obviously, with that page, the information that we provide is recipes, right? Because that's what the page is about. We post nothing but recipes and a few motivational pictures. But we always have a link to our free meal plan.
Now, when you make comments, are you making comments as your page, or are you making comments as you?
Make the comments as your page.
Now, can you have that page join a private group or a closed group?
Sorry?
Are you allowed to have that page join private groups, or do you have to join a person?
No, it has to be a person.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so can you give us some ideas on how we might be able to come up with content? Because for clean recipes, I mean, you can find pictures of food or juices or something. But for example, for my show, it's a marketing show, and I'm already putting a lot of time to create an interview every single day, half an hour piece of audio content and video content. So I'm wondering what else could we put there that is not something like an entrepreneur.com article that everybody else is sharing.
Yeah. Well, what first thing that pops up to me, and it was the similar advice that I had for Charlie, is you've already got content. Go and I take it you transcribe your audio, your podcasts.
No, I don't.
I would start transcribing it, because that's just creating content for Google to look at your blog. And all you need to do is go and take a couple of one-liners out of those. Like, hire a virtual assistant to go through your transcriptions and take out a sentence at a time, put them onto go and get InstaQuote, which is a free app, right? Start creating your own quotes and put them on your fan page. So we've got a virtual assistant that we hire to. I'll say to them, we need 50 images on business quotes. We need 50 funny images related to fitness. We need 50 inspirational quotes related to female fitness, etc. And they'll go out on the internet and find them for you, because you can recycle content out there as well. But also create your own.
She does that with every interview. She grabs a quote.
But it's still only one quote.
It's one,
every
but there's
other
plenty.
day,
Yeah.
So.
Like you could take this conversation that we've just had now and get about 100 different one-liners out of it that would have some type of impact.
Brett, are we ascribing the quote to the person whose transcription it is?
No, so well, you could do if they said it, but if you said it in the interview, you'd put your own quote, your own name on there.
Got it.
Well, what I'd do is I would put the quote as the actual podcast. That's what I'd do. So if I go back and go through Jeff and I's podcast interview that we just did, I'll go and take a one-liner out that Jeff said, which will be hard because the whole interview was awesome, Jeff.
There's probably not one line in the whole thing.
but I'll do something like Jeff and Brett, Professional Podcast, something like that.
Yeah, there you go. Too funny.
Okay, thank you.
Well, dude, say it.
Oh, for her and her content.
He's like whispering, like, you guys aren't allowed to hear.
Plugging, buddy.
Bad people.
Take your content and divide it up into and call. This is my book idea, and it's called. You take the content and growing businesses. So when you're interviewing people, interview them. How did you grow your business? And call it the expansion factor. And you could have a never-ending series of books on how to expand businesses. So you take their interviews, transcribe them, and you got a book.
Yep.
After 10 people. Now, next week, got another book. And you could literally have that content sold as books called the expansion factor.
And it's so true. The transcribing and it's not perfect. You've got to go back through and kind of look because like I was talking about Chet Holmes and Brett and I were talking about Chet Holmes, and it comes out as Czech Holmes, like Czechoslovakian Holmes, and it's just but it's whatever, right? That gets cleaned up in the edits.
But it don't have.
But it was I was talking to Kevin Rogers the other day with the 60-second sales hook, who's just
that's
great.
Great concept.
He's awesome. He's anybody that's stuck at like how do you say what you're supposed to say or how you're trying to get it across. You call and schedule a 30-minute deal with Kevin Rogers, $97, and it's done.
Yeah. And
it's just that good. But he said, he's doing another thing, and we were talking about it, and it's kind of like a week with Kevin, and I'm like, let's get rid of the time period. Let's talk about a deep dive with Kevin Rogers, where he would take like Doreen's free report, college prep and the high school experience, 10 things parents wish they would have known before it was too late, and now he says we can go and on each one of those have a conversation and have it transcribed like Brett's talking about, and now all of a sudden we have a book that's written for high school parents who are now going through this tumultuous time of the college application process. And they may or may not have been involved like they probably should have been as they look back, but this is a book that's talking to them, and now all of a sudden, voila, Doreen's an author. And so it's part of, we're talking about that type of funnel, and I think that's where content repurposing, and I have that one too. I'll send it to you, Rebecca Livermore's program about content repurposing. Another one of the things on the catalog of the 10,000 things that Jeff owns that he forgets about all the time.
But take advantage and don't return the stuff.
Yeah, there you go. Trust me, there's another guy right on here. I'm pointing at this guy right here that looks like he's kind of the dark Hispanic guy with a fan in the background. That's the guy that takes my stuff and never returns it.
You could only see his
I never return it. Too good.
I'm going to buy 2 for you, okay?
But I think that
I'm going to double it.
I think that we're really rocking on something here about looking at content and repurposing that content.
Jeff, may I ask a quick question? Steve, you were talking about Esther about taking the 10 people's interviews and making them into a book. Are you attributing those 10 ways to grow your business to each of those people? Or are you putting
that gives you tremendous credibility for your book. You just springboarded your interview and into content into a book that will never end. It will never, ever, ever end. And you could set people up on subscriptions just like the Time Life, Columbia Record Club if you want to.
And again, though, in the book, you're attributing those 10.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay, good.
Yes, you definitely want to
That's your
attribute
hook.
the people to that.
That's what's on the cover.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. And those people aren't going to be too sad about you sharing their wisdom either. I mean, but you've literally you've got somebody that's now out there marketing on your behalf, marketing your wisdom on.
And remember, each one of the people that she interviews that's in that book, they have a sphere of influence of their people. Like if he's the CEO of a fish company, and he might have to buy, 400 books to give out to people. Hey, look at me, I'm in a book. You just sold 400 books.
Yeah.
It's not that you want to sell 1 million books. It's that you want to sell lots of books over a period of time with the subscription.
Mm-hmm. Or you want to sell a lot of books really quickly so you can be #1 on Amazon.
There you go.
And then you can say I'm a #1 author.
Well, right. We can't be Clint Arthur, all of us.
Too funny. Yeah, don't even get me started on that one. Cool.
I was at his house the other day. I'm like, oh, I'm getting that.
You were at Clint Arthur's house?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Look at that. Where's my commission? All right. So we're talking about repurposing content here. We're utilizing that. But how are we getting our expertise? How are we sharing the best of what we have? I mean, you look at who gets Success Magazine in here. Dean Jackson is talking about email mastery, selling email mastery, and literally his whole ad is not an ad, right? Dean talks about making, don't make ads look addy, I guess, anymore. And so his whole ad in Success Magazine is the training on the 9-word email.
Oh, so it's like an
it's
advertorial.
Literally this guy. It's like an advertorial on the 9-word email where he's training them on this. And now it's like, and if you'd like more strategies like this, that convert customers or prospects into raving fans, or ready buyers, then my email mastery will teach you. But he's literally given his #1 strategy away.
I did that the other day. I'm trying to get somebody on my show, and it's been 6 or 7 months, and he's like, oh, yeah, but he doesn't respond, and I did the 9-word email, like, hey, are you still interested in being on the show? I was like, yeah.
Yes, yeah, great. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. So, content repurposing, I mean, how can we continue? How does that work for you? I mean, you've got...
Well, I'm actually expanding that for my website business. We build websites for window covering retailers, and I built a Facebook page with about 1,780 window covering contractors on it, and I'm constantly peppering it with 5 ways to make more money in 2014 and unusual content because we're dealing with a bunch of creative people. And then the content that I'm putting to them, I'm actually getting from other people. I find it all over the place, and I invite people in from 3 different areas to funnel them into there, and then I'm constantly answering the questions about internet marketing or marketing your business, because that's my forte, is marketing. So answering those questions, and then like, hey, you actually know what you're talking about. I want to buy a site from you. And then we can show them, like I'll do screenshots of our success, where we'll do a search term like Newport Beach Plantation Shutters. I'll be on the front page 5 times in 5 different ways. And we show them, this is what you do. Internet marketing isn't just getting your website at the top. It's getting lots of content on the top. It's just not one thing. It's 20 things.
I think that that's pretty solid. I'm really excited because this, my wife's thing than the seafood thing, because for me, even the wild things side of the business, I found that I could, can I market online and can I sell my seafood online? Sure I can. But do I have more value working with these authors and these people that already have these big lists and providing them expertise within the supply chain, being able to show them, in food, when prices get more expensive, product gets crappier, and helping them understand that and we use that term on the boardroom today, I uncover and discover hidden pockets of profit within the entire supply chain. And for me, yeah, am I going to sell some stuff online? Sure. Am I going to spend my time trying to do a bunch of videos and marketing online? Probably going to do some of that as well. But really my target market is going to be in the B2B space. It's going to continue to be in the B2B space. But on my wife's side of the business, it's totally B2C. And so what she's doing and what we're continuing to do is exactly what you guys are talking about, is just delivering really good stuff, helpful content, experiential content. I mean, my wife's not divulging, the students that she's working for, but she's still an active counselor at Servite High School and will continue to be, because it provides greater information and greater scenarios for her to share with people. And it puts her in the position of being in that room with a parent that's just like the one she's talking to on Skype or whatever, and understanding how this scenario plays out, better than they can. And I think that what we're talking about here is becoming part of their mindset, becoming a part of the conversation, and then guiding that conversation the way you want. And I think that's exactly what Brett very eloquently has been talking about this whole time, is that he's, and I don't want to, he's orchestrating it. He's not manipulating it. He's orchestrating the conversation. And I think there's a difference there. And I think, when we talk about someone like Terry Land, and his deal is that, hey, you know what, we're afraid to put our name and our email in something right now, because all of a sudden we give our name and our email, and our inbox just gets pounded from some guy for, the next 10 days or 30 days or whatever. And I mean, there's even strategies that are very candid about that. Hey, this guy gives you, he gives you your name and email right away. For the next 30 days, this is a hot prospect, and you got to pound him with as many offers, as many things as you can to get this guy to become a customer. And I think that things like Brett's talking about, I think things like Terry Lamb's talking about, things that I'm talking about, is being very wary of that and being more about recognizing that transaction and where that transaction, it's almost like the point of conception, where does it begin? And so where does that transaction begin? Is it transacting? Is part of the engagement as part of that transaction? And then the transaction becomes kind of a logic, as Chet Holmes, as I said in the transcript, Chet Holmes talks about the close as a logical conclusion. And so when we're talking about transacting, it's not let's hurry up. The transacting can be right now, knowing that Glenn's going to be doing my promotional products and doing some gifts for Christmas. He's not pounding me right now about, hey, you got to buy gifts, you got to buy gifts, you got to buy gifts. But he's like, hey, what have been the gifts that you've given that have been the most popular gifts, over the years? Has it been books? Yeah, there's been books. There's also been, the glow or the fish thing, the shrimp, ecosphere. The ecosphere that's got the shrimp that live in there without any need for any food. It's totally enclosed environment. Super popular, really popular, right? Do that. It's got our logo on the bowl. It's got the whole deal. So, but we're engaging at this point, and I think that's a welcome. You become as Dan Kennedy talks about it. You're not an annoying pest. You're a welcome guest, and it without pounding them into this transaction, we're actually guiding them. More like we were talking about the other week, creating that friction-free deal. So when somebody calls you, Mark, photographer, and says, we're looking for a photographer. What is the move? I mean, first of all, how do you get people to call you? It's all word of mouth right now, right?
Word of mouth and mainly SEO, just keeping my site optimized so people can find me. Somebody types in certain keywords, boy, I'm right there.
Okay, and so there you're right there. And now what happens? Somebody picks up the phone. Your thing is to get them to call you.
Yep, call me. Well, first of all, I built a landing page where people will send me I would say, I don't know percentages, I'm terrible. Let's say 73% will send me a landing page. They'll send me a little thing that says, I'm interested.
You mean
I have a part that says, right on my website, fill it out. They fill it out, I get it right away.
Okay.
And
then what happens after that?
Oh, I have forms, everything possible. Well, first of all, right away, as soon as they do it, they get a thank you little note up that says, thank you very much, we'll be contacting you shortly, usually within an hour.
If you guys want to see a site while you're talking, it's markjordanphoto.com. Go check it out while he's talking.
And once they get that, I do a combination of sending them an email as well as calling them, because most people leave a phone number, so I do both.
Okay. And so they call you, and what happens?
We start talking.
Do you have a certain set of questions that you ask every day?
No, not really. I find when I do that, I start becoming more like a Robotron or something. What? Yeah. I'm listening. I listen very carefully. And they usually say, I'm looking for, well, something, what are you looking for?
How would questions be Robotron?
Well, what I mean is that I don't have a set, because if I have a set of questions, it's about me and not about them.
I disagree with that.
Okay, well, we might. I mean, we might say this. What happens is that someone says, my first question is, what are you looking for in a headshot? And then they start talking. Then I start listening to them. And then depending on what they say, I have another set of questions, but I don't have it written down. It's so.
I have it on the back of my business card.
To me, it's so intuitive. You have your questions you're going to ask?
Do you know what I tell them? And when I ask these questions in retiree, 73% of the time, the customer's not using the best available option for their application. And over the last 6 years, by asking these questions, we save the restaurant operator $3.5 million a year in food costs. They're like, shit, what are the questions, man?
Yeah, definitely.
Right? And even David Bach, when he saw it, he goes, the New York Times bestseller, he's like, I have 7 questions I ask every prospective client. He goes, why not start engaging? This is what I want to know about you.
Right.
That's going to give me the best, and you're dealing in a different world because you're dealing with an aesthetic and obviously, but there's got to be something about and I guess it doesn't necessarily go into that question part, because it's not in that business, but there's an energy in a picture, in a photo, right? In a professionally done photo, there's an energy and a closeness, and there's something that you're looking for that can provide that kind of energy and that invitingness of that finished product, right?
Well, the people call.
And that I don't think you can go. I agree with you there. You can't go through a Q&A on that.
Right.
Like I have a question and answer thing for you that is going to help me exemplify the greatest, the most powerful energy. You don't have that. But in a business side of this thing, if I'm trying to, when I'm showing up in a room, there's somebody that's saying, I want salmon. And it's like, well, what kind of salmon? I want, a wild salmon. Well, what kind of wild salmon? And so after years and years of going through this ridiculous conversation, it's like, here's the 5 questions. And now all of a sudden, I just had this week, because in uncovering food, right, when we're talking about the best available option, certified Angus beef, when I was a speaker at their deal back in February, now all of a sudden I got a email from somebody that the certified Angus beef specialist in Kansas City, Missouri, has literally taken my questions, and he's got a laminated card that have my 5 questions on them, because those questions have nothing to do with me or about seafood and everything to do with the customer.
If you see Mark's site and you're looking for a photographer, you'll see each photographer has their own style. So a lot of people choose him because of his style.
Right. Right, and that's to me. I think
Right.
that fits for you.
But it's really funny. I mean, I cannot hang up the phone with asking them what's their target market, what's going to be intended purpose, is it going to be for print, is it going to be for, I mean, all of those questions I
Yeah,
ask.
so you have those.
The
Right.
whole list.
It's a conversation. Believe me, there's an art to the conversation.
Correct.
Right.
But I don't have it in any sort of sequence that has a certain. And another reason I've been doing it for 30, 40 years, so it's so intuitive to me.
Right.
It's something that I have never thought about selling to repeat it to somebody else to do it because it's part of who I am.
And I've got 8,000 Cisco reps that call me up and go, my customer wants to see a salmon. It's like, okay, well, what kind of salmon? You know what? Just give us all kinds of salmon and we'll see what he likes. It's like, that's called show up and throw up. We're not doing that. Right. You know, and so that's where those questions came from, because for me, without asking those questions, what are the chances? If 73% of the time we go through those questions, the customer's not using the best available option, what are the chances that they're not using the best available option right now? 73%. What are the chances that whatever we're going to bring without asking the questions is not going to be the best available option?
Grab one of your cards and read it.
Well, it's basically what are you using now? But what do you? And then we have them take a picture of really the label, because they'll say this is what I'm using, and then they'll take a picture of the label.
These are
and
the
say, "That's
5
not good."
questions he has on his card.
So this is what he did. This it's what did you? Well, hold on.
I took those same questions, and when someone calls me and they're interested in a website, or whether buying window carvings, whatever I'm selling at that moment, and I use those same questions, and what happens is they become part of the conversation. Like, wow, no one's ever asked me that before, because everybody else focuses on price, 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 price. I don't do that.
So that's my business card, right? You can see it really well.
No.
Is that your photo in the top left, Jeff?
And here are the questions, right?
Just let it focus right there. Hold it there for just a second.
You can
It'll
take a
focus
picture
on
of it and
no,
post it
don't
on
move it. It'll
Facebook.
focus, autofocus on it in just a second.
I don't even care. I don't even care. Just my questions are on the back of my card. There they are, and it's just, and when somebody looks at it, they're like, "What the hell?" And I help them understand. You know, I give them those stats, but then I say, but also notice that those questions have nothing to do with seafood, and everything to do with the customer. So it's what are you using now? What are you doing with it? What's your potential weekly or monthly volume, which is important in seafood because it's the last hunted food of man. And so, you know, if the guy's looking for 40,000 pounds of fish that are scarce right now, he's a week. You know, it's not going to happen. Where are you getting the product now? If we know the distributors, we know all the distributors, and we're able to say, okay.
Oh, is he
this
out of
guy-
jail?
Yeah, no. There's guys that are known for adulteration product, you know, species substitution, all sorts of stuff. And then we ask, literally, what are you paying for it? Because if the guy's going, yeah, I'm buying some Pacific Snapper for $1.20 a pound, it's like, yeah, it might be called Pacific Snapper on the box, but when it went into the plant, it was called pollock. And now they've just decided to repurpose that and change it. And so,
Repurposing content.
yeah, they're repurposing their content. They're repurposing their commodities, very much so. So, but like you said, for me, it's a conversation too. I can go through this in a conversation and really know what they're doing.
And, you know, because your business to business is a little bit different. People are thinking about their bottom line and wanting to help their own business. For me, most guys I talk to, the quicker we can make this conversation, the better.
Right.
They don't need, I mean, they want to get their headshot done like they want to have their teeth pulled.
Right.
And so the idea, they already know about me. They're calling to confirm things up, so there's not a lot. It's some people you need, but for the most part, conversation is all of 3 minutes, and they book me. And rarely do I not book somebody.
Now, before you had a website, what did you do to get those people to see your products? You had to do a sales process, right?
Well, that was, you know, a long time ago. That was lots of advertising.
Yeah.
Orange Coast Magazine and Urban World News and you name it. I mean, we were all over the place and became a household name. That took
Do
a
you
lot.
use Pinterest? Like, do you utilize the Pinterest website?
Pinterest, no, I don't.
What?
Okay.
I haven't. Let's see. I have not really seen any purpose for Pinterest yet. I don't
Mostly
know.
women in home products.
Pinterest is?
Yeah.
True. You mean, but now it's coming. It's going to be a big.
Yeah, it's continuing to evolve.
Yeah, Houses,
What do you-
HOZZ is a great site
Business.
we use.
Families and
I
people.
like that.
It's
From
a-
like LinkedIn profiles and stuff?
That's because of LinkedIn profile. I'm going to probably do just under 1,000 headshots this year.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's only because LinkedIn is really something else.
Yeah.
Who is the go-to guy for LinkedIn to learn about?
Oh, he was a professional football player. He has a
Louis
whole
House.
program.
Louis House.
Yes,
Lewis House?
Lewis House. He has a whole program for
Mark,
it.
his business partner.
Who is?
Sean
Yeah,
Mark, his business partner.
He was a
Okay.
professional football
And
player. He was
he's
injured,
Johnson.
laying on his sister's couch
Oh, yeah.
for like 6 months. Didn't have anything to do, so he learned how to use LinkedIn, and he started selling. He couldn't go back to play football, so he learned how to. So he said, "Well, I'm going to teach people how to use LinkedIn."
Mm.
And he sells a program to teach LinkedIn.
Yeah, I'm an insurance guy, so I just barely got into online. I have very successful in direct marketing, and I work for AAA, and I quit and I became my own independent guy now. But direct marketing working so well, so I'm going to keep it. Just now, barely starting online.
You know, I think that just like anything, as we're seeing the renaissance of information and it continues to evolve with social media, there's a lot of the early adopters that they're not necessarily the skilled people in that. And I think what Brett, and I'm going back to Brett because I think he's really got a lot to offer. And obviously Steve has a lot to offer in this area too. But we need to really start to look at all of these media platforms as if we are face-to-face sitting in a meeting, across a table, with a person. And I think that the term everyone needs to get completely jettisoned from your conversations because there's no such thing as having a conversation with everyone. And it just, every time I see, thanks for the birthday wishes, everyone. It's like, whatever, and I just think that I love what Terry was talking about. I know Gary Vaynerchuk talks about it. I know I'm personally that way. I really want to speak to you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and you, individually. We can have this conversation can be leveraged and it can go out. But if you're getting my emails, like you get my broadcast emails from on AWeber, like you get them, I make it very, on purpose, it's personal. I use your name at least once, probably twice in the email for sure, and sometimes even 3 times, because I want that to feel that way. And I remember Paul Pulver here, one of our board members, got mad at me because I was making him, that I was sending him an email that seemed very intimate and personal, but he then would look up and it was from AWeber, and he felt like cheated. And he's like, "You're just saying that to anybody." And I go, "No, I'm not. I'm saying that to you." And he's just like, "No, because it's going out to everybody." I go, "I'm having a one-on-one conversation 107 times is exactly what I'm doing." And I think being able to challenge that. Who, by the way, in here is going to accelerate in August? Evan Pagan's deal. Is anybody? Is everybody? Are you? He sent some CDs that have interviews that he did, and one of them was with Dean Jackson, and I could never get enough of that guy. He's just so sharp, and they were talking about this type of thing, where everything's a person-to-person relationship, and being able to make that as few clicks as possible, as few steps, like you're talking about, Mark. In 3 minutes, it's done. Because you know that these people want to get this thing done, and they don't want to talk about it any longer than they have to. They want to come in, have you do whatever you do, and and you know it's kind of like in you're like Napoleon Dynamite when the guy is going like this in the picture. Did you ever see that movie?
Yeah, one of my favorites.
Yeah, you're like I'm on a cloud. I feel like
Mark is a movie aficionado.
But it's oh god. And do you remember all the lines?
Well, I don't know about all of them, but
But no, I mean, my wife's been begging me to erase the hard drive. I'll say stuff and remember.
Young
stuff.
Frankenstein I have memorized.
Yes.
Oh,
The entire movie.
That's awesome. So
Another great movie.
Yeah.
yeah, isn't it?
Yes.
But anyway, go ahead, Brett.
If I can just talk to that point you were just mentioning there, and I think really what it comes down to, and I know I talk especially in our industry, of course, is I always say is if your marketing's good, it'll do the sales for you. But if your relationship's better, you don't ever have to market or do the sale, because what we've been able to create in our own group, and I'll use Thursday Boardroom as an example. Now, I would be 99.9 times more likely to buy a product from someone within that group without questioning, oh, who is this person? Are they good enough? I have to be on the email list for 6 years to build enough goodwill, etc. It's all about, it comes back to the relationships and the opportunity we all have now, whether you're selling blinds or you're selling photography. It's the relationship that you have with that person, hands down. And I know on one level why other people haven't been able to create what we've created is because we do have resources that do cost us money where we educate and motivate people for free, but we know the return on investment for that is thousandfold of what we know the return is going to be by creating a community, because that's what Thursday night's a small community. We've just created a community on a larger scale, and we just happen to have products and services that could help you move forward. So
right.
I just want to really, really hammer that relationship point home.
It is, and I think that the relationship makes educating easier.
Oh, for sure.
You know, and I think that it's like what comes first, the relationship or the education. I think that the education, you start to teach somebody something, but you're teaching somebody something from that point of a relationship that you've had already with that person in another relationship with another person, right? And so the relationship really starts. It's just not, it's that same relationship with this person. It's the same relationship that this person had. Am I making that clear or no? Okay? So now I'm able to educate you because I know that this is what you want. You know, like the last question in the boardroom, right? Again, questions again, right? What is your business? How does your who is your customer? How does your customer benefit from your service? And what do you do that makes you the best in the world in the eyes of your customer? And the first sentence of that is, I am you. And I know where you're going, and I've been there before, and I know the way, right? And so you know that because maybe that's not exactly what you are, but that's your personification of that person, and it is you. Then you relate to that person as you, right? And so being able to guide them through that relationship and give them stuff that they want for free, and then be able to offer value and transact with that value. But what ends up happening is that, at times when cash flow's tight or something's happening, it's like, okay, now, who do I call to just get an order? Who do I call to get an order? I had a situation the other day where people go, hey, this one Cisco house bought a container load, 40,000 pounds of mahi-mahi from us at $4 a pound. Okay? So $160,000 order, and the guy that bought it from us went on vacation, and somebody else said, hey, it looks like we've got too much inventory, cancel the order. Well, the guy ordered it 2 months ago. That product is like at the dock here. It's ready to be shipped. So now all of a sudden they canceled a $160,000 order, so we owned it. And so I'm able to pick up the phone and call, and I'm like, who canceled this order? So I called the people that apparently were supposed to cancel the order. They didn't cancel. They said, oh, no, that was wrong. They shouldn't have canceled the order. But now, because it was canceled and they had too much inventory at this one Cisco house, the president's like, I don't want it. No, I don't want it. I don't care. I don't want it. And the relationship that I had with this guy, he said, we're going to sell it to this distributor, and he's going to sell it to us. And so when people go, well, this relationship thing, right, what's it really doing, you know? Because I'm able to, in a 5-minute phone call, say, look, this is not right. We got to get this, you know, we got to get this fixed, and be able to resell that $160,000 and have that relationship, that guy in the relationship, go to extreme ends to be able to take responsibility for that inventory. That's a big deal. And so, you know, people go, oh, well, yeah, you know, yeah, you're the relationship guy, but what kind of seafood does that sell? Well, this is a $35 million company, and I'm responsible for $23 million of it. That's what it does. Okay? You know, pointing to somebody that's personally responsible for $23 million in sales, that's pretty cool. You know, and it's just like, but it's you know, but it's people want when people want to, you know, when people want to talk about, well, how much seafood does that really sell? You know, how many boxes are you selling? I'm selling a shitload of boxes, thank you. And so my point is don't ever lose faith in this part of the thing that we're talking about here. There's going to be other priorities. There's going to be cash flow. There's going to be these problems, but never lose sight of the fact that the relationship that you have are assets, and they're assets that need to be cultivated ongoing. And, you know, I think that our problems when we run into cash flow and we run into people, and there's a friend of mine right now that's in the health space that is just making offer after offer after offer after offer every single day. I've like never seen anything like it. You know, whether it's a ClickBank offer or whatever, I'm just like, dude, really? You know, and you know, it's an offer after an offer and after offer, and he's lost sight of the fact that people have their relationships with him. They don't have the relationships with all these products and all this type of thing. And so the problem that he has, and the problem that all of us have, is that we don't maximize and optimize our assets very well. We don't go to those resources and really look to them for everything that they mean to us. You know, and so we become wary because they're just not automatically turning something on for us at will. And I think that what Brett's showing is that you have enough of those relationships, and you continue to very strategically make offers, it becomes the accepted way of doing business that way. And so it's easy to it's I mean, you were showing some numbers. I think you were talking about some numbers, and there's some pretty serious six-figure numbers that you're talking about when you're doing some of these launches and these offers. Am I right, Brett?
Yeah, that's right, and it all comes back to that. You know, if we take everything away from it, it all comes back to, one, obviously you've got to have a list, but then you've got to have a relationship of the list, because there's no point me having, you know, hundreds of thousands of people on my list if I'm getting a 3% open rate. We do that by very, very seldomly offering products and services. We make, I guess we hit our budget, so to speak, of products sold within our own communities. So definitely agree with that.
Cool. You know, I think Brian Kurtz says, you know, talking to online guys, is when's the last time you took your best customer out to dinner? And they're like, what? You know, hey, who's the guy that's bought recently, frequently, and the highest ticket stuff? What is your relationship with that guy? You know, is it a personal relationship? And at what point do these relationships, you know, are they personal? I know that you're limited at the access, the one-on-one access that you can have, but these certainly can be segmented and tagged into a different conversation and still maintain leverage with these people. And so I think that's a great piece. Let's just go around the room. We're going to close it off for the night. Elisa, what was your big takeaway tonight? Did you have a takeaway tonight?
Yeah, my biggest takeaway is to focus on building relationships. I do that already anyway, and just to try to find ways to reduce friction at work, as not friction, but I guess pain points, and I took a lot of notes. Just find ways to make things easier for others at work. So I'm just going to try to figure that out. And I took away quite a few good ideas as far as, I guess, potential business ideas. I like what you said earlier, Jeff, about potentially helping others to develop products. I think just a lot of really good business tips. So it's been very helpful. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, cool. Brian, are you awake?
I am.
Brian's usually, I wish he was here, because you guys would have seen him fall asleep. He sleeps when he gets in here. He's so riveted he falls asleep. How's your business opportunity going? With the neck deal thing.
That's going pretty well right now. We're finalizing up our contract. I brought on a sales guy, and right now we're finishing up the actual brochure. Be ready for the release. Will be next week, and getting started on the all the other aspects, and so it's going well so far. So
what price did you end up at?
What price? Yeah, what price did you end up with?
Well, we're going to do MSRP is going to be $79.99.
Okay.
And we're selling it to the doctors at 30, and so the doctors can sell them anywhere in between that $49.99 to the $79.99. So ideally, we came up with the customers are with our patients. Pretty much the price point seemed to be comfortable, about $50 to $60 for that. And so if the doctors can sell it for that price and net themselves $30, then they should be happy about that. And so we're offering it to the doctors, selling a 10 per case with it, including free shipping. If you do less than 10, then it's not free shipping. So I think we've got something that is going to be exciting, and it's going to be rebranded. We have a new logo. It's called the Servopedic, and so things are moving. Things are moving. So we're excited about that.
I look forward to you posting the brochure on the Boardroom, and you're going to have a landing page and everything like that for lead generation.
Well, that's the one thing that we haven't gotten to that step yet. I have to talk to Ed, who's really basically the owner of that, and I have to kind of get him involved with the Boardroom so we can get that stuff going in that area. So our main focus right now is to get it to the clinical side of it first of all with that. But we have to discuss that.
Servopedic?
It's called Servopedic. It's CERVIPEDIC. So the trademark is being established with that, and we got the logo design, and so we're moving forward.
We just bought Servopedic.com. Servopedic.com is already taken. Sorry.
Yeah.
I've got it up for sale.
All right. Congratulations, man. Thanks for being here. Who is this one?
Charlie.
This is not Charlie. Fresh Astrology. What's her name?
Lee.
Lee.
Yeah, sorry. I've got so many identities that I can't keep them straight. So I was trying to get on here quickly, and this is the Google account that was on.
So it's not how are you? It's who are you tonight?
Yeah. I've got to narrow down my identities.
So you're listening tonight intently. What was your takeaway tonight?
Well, repurposing the content. That's something I've been thinking a lot about. And so that was really relevant for me. I'm so glad I was able to tune in. And also the relationships. That's a new, I hadn't really thought about it that way. I mean, I sort of do it intuitively with anybody I work with, no matter where I work. But just thinking about it with more intent and purpose. that's very valuable for me to think about.
That's great. That's great. Well, thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thank you. This was a great. I like this format. Thank you.
It's kind of weird, isn't it? We're all just here live.
Great.
It's
I love
usually
it.
the room is a lot more full too. I was kind of nervous because and we'll figure out if we do a long table or something like this next time. But cool.
Well, thanks
you
for
joining.
setting
Thanks
this
for
up, Jeff. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Hey, Joe Beckman.
Yes, sir.
What was your takeaway tonight, my friend?
So many. I'm going to just narrow it down to one from a life standpoint, which is, I'll narrow it down to one. I love the fact, Jeff, you talked earlier that you've totally changed your diet, and I know that sounds like, why would that be a takeaway? Because as a young 38-year-old man, as you are yourself, I love the fact that you're still willing to grow and try new things, and that's a pretty big change to do everything that you've done, and I don't imagine that being easy, yet having the courage to do that, and I think that's awesome. So that's great.
Thank you very much, and thanks for being here again. Really appreciate it. What's a new challenge you've got? What's a challenge that you're going to accomplish before we see you next?
What I'm going to do is I love from a business standpoint, the business card idea that you have, where you actually provide value and a solution on that business card, and so that's what I'm going to really think about, because when I'm speaking to students, specifically on this idea of respecting yourself more, many times they come up to me afterwards and say, give me some like tactics, give me some real strong takeaways, and I can say it to them verbally, but if I had that in a card and I could give it to them, and on the bottom of that card, send them to my website or to, a personal Facebook page, or everything that Brett was talking about, I think I could provide a solution, as well as try to generate, an email list along with that.
That's great.
Do you sell other products to students?
Not as of now, I don't. But that's the idea. Is I want to create a video series that they could purchase for whatever, $19 a month. That every week they would get a video from me with an inspirational message on leadership that would be helpful for them, as well as their parents, and as well as teachers and educators.
I would just add one more thing, and we use this a lot here. Is how do you know? Reveal what success looks like. I'm being a great leader when, right? I'm evolving as a leader when, and so all of a sudden they can recognize when they're doing it. You help them recognize it, because it's not that we're not doing it or we don't want to do it. I'm not just sure we ever know what it looks like when
That's great.
And so what does success look like? I know David, the guy, the Naked Interview.
David Jensen.
David Jensen, when he was here, he's like, you've got to be diligent. And I'm like, what? How do I know when I'm being diligent? He's like, what the hell do you mean? I'm like,
did you listen to his interview? I just released it.
No, I just saw it on the thing, but I'm driving up to Sacramento and back this weekend, so I'm going to have plenty of time to listen to that stuff. But how do you know? I know I'm being, we mentioned Dean a lot tonight. I know I'm being successful when, ... I know I'm being diligent when, ... I know I'm, on the right track health-wise, ... And that's how it goes. So anyway, thank you very much, Joe.
Thank you.
Hey, Joe Garcia, what was your takeaway tonight, my friend?
Well, mine today was probably one that was repeated before, but for me it kind of takes a few times to things to sink in. I would say to lead the conversation with the customer by asking the right questions. I think it kind of, for me, it's the thing that I have trouble with. When people ask me for websites, it's always this huge array of options, and I think when people come to me, they're usually lost themselves. So if I don't have a clue how to guide them, usually things go bad. So
gotcha.
That was good.
Super. Bill Franco.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us, Joe. What was your big takeaway tonight there, Felipe?
Well, unlike with you know, you and I have spoken about your questions on the card before, and I always forget about that. And I think it's such an important tool to really find out what's important to the customer. And once you find out what's really important to the customer, I think it gives you a head start as far as how to sell to the customer. So I really do like those questions that you have, and I think I need to develop something like that. And then just kind of put that to memory and use it. So I also enjoyed what Brett was saying about, you know, using that likealizer on Facebook.
Yep.
In regards to you know, going to other businesses that are like yours and liking them and making comments on their pages. You know, I thought that's a great way to build you know, your network, if you will, and you know, you can also you know, people also see you doing that, and I think that's another way you can build your social media. So that was also a extremely positive takeaway.
You know, I did something on Facebook a couple of times now where I've got customers, whether it's El Torito or Lazy Dog. And recently I just, at Lazy Dog, remember, Phil, when we used to ride our bikes down to Lazy Dog and we would get this hummus trio with the tomatoes and the cucumbers. And you saw on JJ Virgin's site that I posted because we had that, and I took a picture of it, and I showed that, like, that's clean. You know, that's hummus, and it's cucumbers and tomatoes. And I was able to post that, and it got like 14 shares and all these different things. And it's like I wasn't orchestrating any of that, but now all of a sudden when I'm eating clean, I'm taking a picture of it, and like I'm at this restaurant or Islands, the new hoisin bowl that they have, get mahi mahi and have them put no sauce on it, and have them add black beans, and look at this awesome dish. It's like the perfectly balanced meal. You know, and it's beautiful. And so then I post that. And so, you know, I'm going to start posting that stuff as Wild Thing Seafood instead of as Jeff Moore. But you know, I think that
yeah,
that's...
I know. Going with organic food and going with the healthy choices right now is a big thing. I mean, even at that food show that I was at today, one of the things that was more prevalent there were the selection of healthy choices rather than just you know, your standard bakery items and, you know...
French fries.
Yeah, exactly.
The stuff that makes food shows good.
What's that?
The stuff that makes food shows great. French fries and chili. When the chili booth is next to the French fry booth, that's awesome.
Right, which is right next to the restroom, so it works out perfectly.
Oh, man. Yeah, cool. Well, thanks for being here, pal. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. I enjoy this every time. So, I'm glad you're doing it on this Google Hangouts. Very cool.
Yeah, me too. So what was your big takeaway tonight there, Skipper?
I'm going to take an extra business card of you, and I'm going to redo my questions.
Yeah, Jeff, can you bring those home? I'd like to... If you can drop one off in front of my house on your way to your house, that would be great.
Exactly. I got 2 words for you, and it's not happy birthday.
I love you too, Jeff.
What about you there, Glenn?
Well, the question thing is something that's in development, but I think I've decided that what I really need to when I'm in, I do a lot of networking groups, and when I ask somebody what they're doing, to really sort of make it easy for them to sit down with me and see what it is that they're doing, what they're being successful at, and how I might be able to help them. It really, like, you know, have you got a half an hour after this meeting just to, you know, sit down and talk about what you're doing? Because it's always about, you know,
without a hidden agenda, right? Yeah. Just learning about them, because that conversation's not going to be like, okay, oh great, you know, I learned all about you. Now here, cut me a PO for something. But it's the beginning of something that could be a very short-term sales cycle, right? It's just make it about them. That's everybody's favorite subject, right?
Well, it goes back to that. Would you like a cookie?
Yeah.
So make it easy for them. Say, hey, if you got time, if you don't have time right now, if you got time in your schedule tomorrow, let's meet up at Corner Bakery for a coffee, and I'd like to hear about how you're marketing your business right now.
And you know what? I would love to just say one thing about this, and I wouldn't even do about marketing the business. I would say, tell me about your business and what your business does, and yeah, okay, how are you marketing your business, right? That's fine, without any agenda. But the follow-up to stuff like that, especially in the B2B space, if you're having a conversation with somebody, Esther does a great job with this, is, you know what? I saw something today and I thought of you. Because you've had that conversation, and you've learned about them, now you saw something and it reminded me of you. Or I saw something today and I thought of you, and I just wanted to share something with you. And now, whether that person was in the room or not, you were able to express your care for that person. And now there's a relationship there where you're thinking about that person whether they're in front of you or not. And I think that's really, really powerful type of stuff. So what was your big takeaway tonight there, Mr. Jordan?
I think right when I finished doing portraits of the client, the conversation usually generates something that they realize that I care more about their success than I do a headshot. And I wish they would arrive with that with a bit more of a sense. So I think in this question aspect, along with the consultation confirmation letter I send them, which has a bunch of stuff, I think I'm going to have a question there. I say, if you'd like to fill this out, and it's something that a doctor does before you meet them, they want to find out about your history, but I have this sense of wanting to create something that gives them a greater sense of how important this headshot is and how much we care about the process. If they want to fill it out or not, they can. Hopefully most people do, but if not, they get the sense that there's more to this than just showing up to have your picture taken.
Do you want to raise the bar? Does everybody here want to raise the bar on everything? On something, not everything, right? But on what they do, like completely raise the bar on your engagement with every single individual you come in front of, right?
Yes.
Ask yourself, what would be the dream come true scenario? How can you become this person's dream come true scenario? I mean, that is as high as you can get, right? How can I become this person's dream come true scenario? And really shoot to that. Shoot to serving to that. And that's what you're doing. Without them understanding it right until the end, that's what you're doing. What do you want this picture to do? What power do you want this picture to project? I can do that for you. I know how to make this thing happen. And not a lot of people just want a headshot and they don't know. But there's certain things where you could actually get close enough that almost seems like it's too close, but it's actually something that is even more powerful. Depending on the business that you're in, and I'm just making that up,
right?
But it's something that, do you want to be that person that people feel like they can be close to and get to? And I'm sure that there's a way to take that picture to make that project, right?
Ask them what is their favorite kind of music, and you can compile a playlist like how if you shoot indoors.
Those sort of things I thought of, and it starts getting a little bit. Yeah, I mean, you can go too much.
Usually business people, aren't they? Walking in and say, get this over with, I got to get out of here.
15 minutes, yeah. But anyway. But still, all you can do.
Cool. Mitt, what was your big takeaway tonight, buddy?
Well, I'm so glad that I'm here after 2 years.
Yeah, it's a little different than it was 2 years ago. Yeah.
So,
about 300 more members than 2 years ago.
That's awesome. And then, so my biggest takeaway is the questions. And I'm very spoiled by huge success in direct marketing. So I go and I have a 50, 55, 60% closing ratio. So I'm pretty.
That's great.
So my challenge is to be with you for this opportunity of learning the online stuff. Facebook is entirely, it's a huge moon to me.
And I'm not sure in the insurance world people are going to Facebook to learn about insurance.
Mine is senior markets mostly.
Okay.
I do guaranteed income for life.
Okay.
So whatever the money they have, I make sure they don't run out of money.
Okay, great.
So the one question I wanted to contribute was, the first question I tell them is, Vlad, thank you so much for inviting me to assist you today. The first thing I want to let you know is that I don't know that I am able to help you. I'm going to find out a few things about you. The first thing is, what is the most important thing this will give it to you?
Yep.
So that's how I start. then that gives your dream come true scenario.
Right.
A little bit, not exactly as it is. So once I know that, I could guide them through the process. So I just thought of offering. Other than that, the questions are powerful. I like Brett's Like Eliza on Facebook.
Yeah, like Eliza is a big
I
deal.
want to thank you. I want to try that, and I'm super excited to be
Good.
back. Thank you.
Super. Thank you. Thank you. Esther.
I really like the idea of posting as a page and other
Yeah,
Facebook
I do
pages
too.
that are related. And then also the conference organizers, to reach out to conference organizers and offer them content.
That was him, right?
Yeah.
What is it, conference what?
Conference right now. It was
For Michelle.
conference for her show. She's going to repurpose the content on that. Charlie.
Too numerous to mention, actually. Thank you, everybody, seriously, for all of your help. Jeff, I did want to mention one thing. I heard you say this a couple weeks ago, and it just struck me again tonight that I am you and I know the way, and that's exactly my situation. So that's a good takeaway. And you mentioned a couple times transcriptions and checking transcriptions. My transcriptionist is spectacular. Like if she saw Chet Holmes, the Ultimate Sales Machine, she'd go on the internet and check out how his name is spelled. So if anybody needs a good transcriptionist, I'm happy to share her with you.
Yeah, what's her name?
Her name is Stacy, S-T-A-C-E-Y. And if you go to my website, there's not an affiliate link, but if you go to my website on the resources page, it's her company. It's called Copycat Transcription, and she's in Canada, but she's spectacular.
But what's your website?
BoomerBusinessOwner.com. TheBoomerBusinessOwner.com.
Okay, see you guys.
Bye, guys. See y'all.
And Brett,
Run to the restroom.
Brett, what's you're the last one tonight. What was your big takeaway tonight? You gave so much. You gave so much. I really appreciate it.
Yes. No, I love it. I love giving. So I guess for me it was really the reiteration of the relationships and the power of questions, because I guess it's like myself, whenever I'm going through a learning process, I'll learn about a certain something and then move on to, for example, for the last 3 months I've been really learning a lot about direct sales, and if a resource for anyone, if you haven't done Jordan Belfort's straight line sales, or you haven't seen his seminar, highly recommend that. Now he talks about not only is it the power of the question, it's the power in which the way the words are presented, but also in your tonality in how you present that question, because we could have the exact same question said in a slightly, said in a really bad tone that just sounds boring, but it really emphasizes the question. Why I say that is because I've got right here a phone script sitting in front of me that for me, I normally, because I can, I can string a sentence together, I rested on my laurels and I thought I don't need a phone script, I can talk. But I'll tell you, as soon as I wrote this phone script, and I literally sit on the phone if I'm doing a sales call, I'll read the exact phone script. Of course, I'll be communicationable with the person on the line, but it really just, for me, it reiterates the power of the question. And because for now, I guess for me, it's been a massive shift for our business. What it's now enforced us to do is go back and create new phone scripts for every single component, every product that we have, every communication we have, because at the end of the day, that's the only way you can duplicate. Because we have a franchise, we need to have the exact same duplication of the same way the presentation is presented, etc. So, the reiteration of the power of the question, but not only that, taking it to the next level of how the question is presented. Think about that.
It's interesting when we talk about these questions. I've got people in different, segments of the food business using this. I've got Cisco houses, my customers stealing these questions. Whatever. It's for me, those questions aren't. I guess the way I use them might be proprietary, but the questions are, about the customer. But I think probably the biggest deal for me was when I opened up Trident, and Trident Seafoods is one of the largest seafood companies in the world. And I opened up their most recent customer brochure, and there are my questions. And they're like my biggest competitor. and there are my questions. And literally, the director of marketing sees me, and she goes, "Here, I wanted to give this to you." And I'm like, "Why?" She goes, "Because I want you to know we used your questions. I hope you're not mad." And I'm like, I remember Dan Sullivan says, "He who names the game owns the game." So, I guess that's the sincerest form of flattery. But what the hell? I guess I've got a little bit of credibility somewhere in this little world of ours. But thought that was pretty cool. Multi-billion-dollar corporation using my questions in their point of sale or their marketing pieces. So.
You should have copyrighted.
Yeah, whatever. One of millions of mistakes and lapses of judgment, I'm sure. But you guys, I really appreciate it. Thanks for hanging in there. There's Phil's beautiful new dog there. And you guys, it's been a great night. I appreciate every one of you.
Good night, guys.
Thank you so much. And Brett, thanks. It was great to have someone from Australia. That's it gave so much of us to us tonight.
Someone's got to hold up this side of the world, mate.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Brett.
Thanks, Marcos.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, guys.
Good night, everybody.
Hey,
Good day.
You just woke me up now.
See you, Brian.
All right. Get yourself in the office. You're overdue.
I will.